Hello, History 120 students. Just want to make a video about the Module 13.321 research assignment. Kind of walk you through how to use the recommended database for that. I'm also going to post a video from the library that they've made on just using the databases in general. The two go hand in hand well. It's just that I am directing you to a specific database that they have that I think will simplify the process a bit for you. There's some other databases you can use when doing research for history, but this is probably the simplest one to use. Bear with me. I don't have lots of experience, making videos using screen share, so hang in there with me as I work through this process, and hopefully things will make sense for you, and this will help with the assignment. This assignment is in lieu of more involved research, term paper, whatever you might call it, that I typically have students do that has multiple steps to it. And I've set that aside for a variety of reasons. Biggest thing is just to simplify things for you, as I think everybody can appreciate some simplification of things, especially in the world we're living in right now. But it does give you a sense of the tools that historians use in going about doing the work that they do and the research they do. And I think I've noted along the way in here that my goal is not to turn you into historians. I realize that's not the path that you guys are probably on. If somebody is, that's great. But most of you are probably heading down other paths. But there are values and understanding how historians go about doing their work that apply to everyday life and critical thinking skills, research, problem solving, and so on. And so I think this is a valuable resource, and hopefully valuable resource as you move on in your educational careers and do other types of research. And the footsteps you hear in the background are my youngest son running through the living room next door. So don't be surprised if one or the other of the boys don't pop in at some point. They're winding down for the evening. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am in the teacher mode on this, and I'm going to switch over to student view. So this will look a little more familiar to you. There's not a lot of difference. And then I'm going to switch into modules. And all of my module drop downs are currently open, so I'm going to scroll a little bit. I'm going to get down here to module 13. And here is our fact, question, response. That's exam 3. Module 13, 321 research assignment. And it's just like our other research 321 assignments, except I've added this small research twist to this. And so I've got it open up here, and you identify 3 facts, details, or concepts that are covered in the module that you find interesting, explain why you think each is interesting or surprising or important. Like for one of those to come from one of the supplementary sources. 2 questions the module created for you, or 2 facts or details or concepts you'd like to know more about. And this is where the research step will come in. Following this, once you've listed those for your 1, this time it's a little different. You're going to choose 1 of those questions that the module created for you, or 1 of the facts or details that you would like to know more about, and I'll fix that typo later. And you're going to research that fact or detail using the History Reference Center, which is a database that you can access through the OTC library. And the page that I referenced there will be, this video will be embedded on that. And so you're going to research it, find an article, read it. I would like for the article to be at least 1,000 words long, which is about roughly 2 pages printed as a PDF. If you select something shorter than that, then you'll need to select a second piece that combining the word count of both of those will get you to 1,000 words, or about 2 pages as a PDF. If you have questions, you can email me. And you will just reflect on what you learned about your selected topic and write a well-developed paragraph. For me, that is at least 5 sentences summarizing your thoughts and what you learned about it. So I'm going to walk you through this process. Now I have put a hot link directly to the History Reference Center here that you can click. And this is one reason why I did what I did. Sometimes that doesn't work well. So I will work with that. I've also put a link to the OTC library here that you can use. But I want to show you that you can also, in any course you're in, click on Ask the Library, and it takes you directly to the library page where they have links to a variety of resources, and they have some quick links to some recommended sources, one of them being the History Reference Center. You could also use the Biography Reference Center by the same company, works the exact same way. You're just looking for specific people. So that is available to you. But another thing I'll show you really quick about how to get to the library from my OTC, and I'm going to switch tabs here, is when you are on my OTC and you click, you'll go into this page where you land, and under the Helpful Resources window, there's a quick link to the library page there. So a couple of different ways to get to the library page from Canvas. Whatever is convenient and works best for you, that's what I encourage you to use. I've got a couple of different tabs open. So back to the assignment here, and again, you could click here. I will check on that one. If it doesn't work, come down here, and then you will get here, and you're going to open up the History Reference Center. And there is a U.S. history tool and a world history tool in this course. We're going to use U.S. history. Now, they provide kind of some tabs here that will take you to some general periods, kind of in chronological order. So if you're just wanting to do some general research, you can do that. But I'm going to show you how to get a little more specific and maybe save you a little bit of time in doing your research. And so I am going to go back to our class now, get to that tab, and I am actually going to click back to modules, and I'm going to do this as if I was working out of module 12, our last module. And let's say that in module 12, I was really interested in the Mexican-American War. And I was like, wow, you know, I would like to learn more about the Mexican-American War. I could even be more specific because I believe, yes, that there is an article here specifically about the Mexican-American War. We'll get rid of that. And it talks about some specific battles in the war. Some specific individuals. It talks about the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Maybe that's something I want to learn more about. I could do something as specific as that. And I would say that you want to do something relatively specific. Module 13, I would not do just slavery, but you could do life of slave women, because I had some things in there about that. You could do plantation slavery, you could do slavery and cotton gin, or you could do the cotton gin. So there's a lot of ways you could go. So I'm going to jump back though, and let's just say I'm going to do the Mexican-American War from the last module. So I will go back to where we were. Not really necessary, just kind of the way I would work. So I'm in the history database, and I want to do Mexican-American War. So I type in, and as I start typing, it auto-completes. And if you'll notice, once I get a Mexican-American War, it even gives me some more narrow results that I could, if maybe they fit where I'm going, choose one of those. But in our case, I'm just going to go with Mexican-American War. I'll click that, and let's say search. And I get 538 articles. Now, there are some tools on the left-hand side that you can use to narrow your search results. And you also can do an advanced search that will give you more specific results. But I'm not going to worry about that. We're going to keep it simple. You can also narrow it by publication dates. So we see that narrows it a bit, not a lot. To be real honest, I'm not so worried about publication dates. Actually, sometimes there's some value in looking at things that are older, but I would encourage you to narrow your results to what are called full text. That means that you are able to get the entirety of the article via the database. There's also a peer-reviewed option. If you're wondering what that means is that all of the articles that are listed have been reviewed by other scholars in the field. And as you move on in your academic research, that is something that, or your academic career, that might be something that instructors, professors will request of you. For our cases, I'm not going to ask that. Again, you can narrow it by books, magazines, reviews, academic journals, biographies. You can open this up and you can narrow it, and you can see how many sources are in each category. But again, I'm not going to ask you to do that. There's some other ways to narrow that. But for our purposes, I'm going to leave it pretty general. A word about academic journals. That's great if you want to use them. I would say that it's something, again, as you move on your academic career, instructors may want you to use those specifically because they are written by scholars in the field. They're from journals specific to the field. But they can also be pretty lengthy and pretty technical at times. So they may be more than what you want for a general course such as this one. So back over here are my results. One of the nice things is it tells you what kind of, you get the title here, the author, the title of the source, which is, this is in this case a primary source, a first-hand source. I'm not requiring you to come up with a primary source for this, but that's a nice element of these. Publication date, what page it's on, how many pages. Sometimes that's a bit misleading. And what is called a reading lexile level. The higher this number, the more complicated the reading level, to put it simply. And then this one comes in what's called HTML full text. Some of them come both in HTML and PDF. PDF is just going to look more like what you would actually see. And my dog is scavenging in the room here, so you probably hear that. But PDF is more like what you will actually see if you had a hard copy of the article, such as you can see here. Now, if I go back to the detailed record, the HTML is just largely text. I don't care which you use. You can use either one and it will work. Going back to the detailed record, I want to go back to my result list. So a lot of things to process there. Periodical is just like a journal or a magazine or something of that nature. So a lot of ways to kind of get an idea, and I would encourage you to kind of skim through in looking at these to see what you want to come up with. Once you've chosen something, and I'm just kind of scanning here, let's check out Writing His Mind. Sometimes you will get what's called an abstract, which gives you a short summary of what the article is about. This is actually about Ulysses S. Grant in relation to the author's experience, views on the Mexican-American War. Okay, so this could be useful in giving Grant's perspectives on the Mexican-American War. And so you could read this article. Now, some tools here that I encourage you to use. Again, I prefer PDF full text. And I'm going to shift my screen a little bit. Then on the right-hand side of the screen, there is an icon that allows you to print. There's an icon that allows you to save it to your Google Drive if you're logged in. Icon that allows you to email it yourself. You can create a folder within this. So this is hosted by what is called EBSCO. This is a tool I'll come back to. You can export this to other things. So a lot of things you can do with this here. Typically, there is a tool that allows you to just shortcut save it to the files on your computer. I would definitely save the article in some form. So you can print it out if you want. You can download it here too. When you do the PDF, HTML is probably not going to give you that option. At least not right here. It will over here. So I would definitely save a copy of it somewhere, and I would probably print a copy. And then the other tool that you're going to want to use, because I'm going to require you to give me an MLA citation of your article, is this handy tool over here on the right that says Cite. And there are a number of different academic citation systems that are used. As you continue in your academic career, again, the field you go into will have a specific method. So if you go in the medical field, you'll use the AMA style. APA is used by, typically, as the name would indicate, the psychology field. Chicago Tribune is actually a standard for history. MLA is more of a general form, and it is the standard form used at OTC overall, unless this program has specifically identified another form. So what you will do is you can simply highlight this, copy, and paste it into a Word doc. There may be, there's an export tool here, maybe even, right here, a way to export to other systems. But the simple thing I find is just to do a copy and paste here. So that you will cite that, you will paste this citation onto the summary you provide after your one paragraph summary. Make sure you include this link, because that link will allow me to go back and check out your article if I would like to do that. So that is really the process for how you go about finding an article in the history database from EBSCO. I'm sure I probably left a few things out, but hopefully that gives you a general way to go about and utilize this tool. If you ever have problems, going back to the library page, they always have the chat with a librarian option. You will chat with a live person in that. And in the video from the library that I'll post, they also mentioned that you can email them, you can call them, you can physically go into the library either on the Richwood campus or on the Springfield campus and visit with them. They're always eager to help. I am going to share this assignment with the librarians so they'll know what we're doing. They may have some other tips for you. I feel like I've probably overlooked some things, but hopefully that gives you a general overview. I'm going to flip back to the library of how to use the History Reference Center. As I said, you can use the Biography Reference Center too. If there's a person that you want to research, works the same way. Again, you can narrow it by categories over here, but I would recommend just searching by name and going from there. Sam Houston, somebody we learned about in the last unit. And so you could read more and find more resources on him. Works very similar to the history database. Again, I hope this is useful to you, and I hope it's something that maybe on down the line you can use in other classes. If you have public speaking or an English class where you have to write a paper about something or give a speech about something, have to find sources, this is a great place to come and look. If you have questions, let me know, and also be looking for the video that I'm going to post from the library that just shows how to use the databases in general. Everybody have a good evening, and good luck with the assignment. You guys are going to do great.